Safari Small Schools is offering a free homeschool workshop for parents this summer on June 4th at 2 p.m. Central. To learn more, text Safari to 33777.
Right. And that kind of gets to my next question. How and why should parents seek options outside of traditional school? And I think what you're saying is because there's so much that's being geared for the middle, that either, side of that, people are getting left behind. And I've
Mhm.
noticed in the schools that there were a lot of kids repeating grades, but you didn't see many skipping grades. And there were definitely some who had the
Mhm.
ability, but we don't want that because we're going to lose money. We're going to lose that, yearly per pupil allotment, for the year, or suggesting private school or homeschool, where they can excel, and they certainly won't suggest things like that.
Never. Nope. They will keep, all of the assets they have to themselves. It doesn't matter if it's better for the kid or not. This is really all about, uh, in the end, it's a money thing. Testing, scores, all of that at the end of the long trail equates to money. That's all that it is. It's not personal, it's not anything else. It is schools are a business. Schools are a money making
Yeah.
machine. I call them the public ATM because that's what they are. And
Yeah.
so, as far as why parents should seek options outside of traditional school, be I say because there is no such thing as the traditional kid. There is a variety of kids and learning and needs and issues and challenges and wants and desires and skills that school is not one size fits all. There are some kids who can go to public school and their needs will be met in a way that parents are satisfied. If that's you, then fine. Stay there. But for the majority of the other kids, that's not happening. We need to make sure our children are learning in the way they need to learn. They're achieving at the level and rate and speed that works for them, and that they are afforded a full and comprehensive curriculum that's not just state testing based. So in order to have a more full education experience, you got to get out of the public school system. The public school system is going to teach your children what's expected on that test, and they're going to drill and kill and focus on that so that kid can pass in the spring. But once that's all over, really, what did your child learn? What does your child know?
Hmm.
So, my thought is if you really do want your children to have a more comprehensive education experience, it's better to seek something outside of the public school system.
Yes. Yeah, I definitely agree. And I wanted to also ask, with your background with special learning needs, and you're also talking about the money issue with the schools. Could you talk a little bit about the funding differences for students with special needs? And is that being utilized to the fullest, do you think, in like the extra money that's received for the special education? And also talk about the benefits of what you're doing with specifically with students with special needs.
Sure. So, special students who receive special education services, who are on an IEP, an individualized education plan in schools receive additional funding for to meet those kids' social and academic needs, as whatever those needs might be. I can't tell you where the money is spent, but I it's easier for me to tell you where the money is not being spent,
Okay.
and that's on the kids. So, for example, I know right now that in a district that where I used to work, there are kids who are diagnosed with autism and only autism. They are ill placed in a classroom with children with severe behavior problems. The district is required to place those children with autism in a classroom with a teacher with experience and training with dealing with children with autism so those children can be taught depending on the severity of their needs.
Right.
These kids would need to be in a class with children with autism, or in the mainstream with support, but not in a behavior class. Those kids right now are ill placed. It is unlawful. I'm not sure what the parents know about it, but that is so commonplace. It's disgusting.
Mm.
Sometimes the parents don't know what they're supposed to have. The school districts are supposed to avail parent training related to autism to parents. Most parents don't know that, and that's not happening. So I don't know where the money is going, but I know where it's not going. It's not just students with autism, it's with special education across the board. That is one of the greatest illusions being perpetrated in public education today, is special education services. Um, if
Mm.
most parents whose children receive special education services went to the school and asked for the documentation that shows what services are being provided to their children and when, and what are the outcomes so far of those services, most teachers wouldn't be able to provide it because it's not happening.
Mm.
It's just not happening. And that's a fact. And so it doesn't take me just to say that. If you do the research with special education failure, due process issues, all of that across the United States, you'll be able to find the public information is there. Special education services are not happening for kids. COVID also really, really showed how we weren't prepared to serve children with special education needs in the event of some type of emergency. So for the last couple years, students who receive special education services have largely been unserved. Absolutely unlawful. We can't blame
Mm.
the government, schools. We can't blame public schools for COVID. We're not blaming them for that, but we should be holding them responsible for providing services, even though COVID hit,
Right,
because
because they were still getting money.
you're still getting the money for that. So you still need to provide the services. And if it means
Yeah.
going outside of the system and contracting that service out, then do that. But where's the to just apologize to parents that I'm sorry, COVID. No, 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 no. That's unacceptable. I'm sorry. And it's like, no, no, you need to provide the service. And it's not.
Right.
So the difference for me with Safari Small Schools is instruction is individualized for all students. So wherever a student is coming in, we are working on building competencies from that point. So if I've had 5-year-olds who can do third grade work, well, they're not doing 1 + 1 = 2 when it's math time. However, the student right next to them could have manipulatives, and they're literally on a work mat doing 3 ducks plus 1 duck = 4 ducks. It's math time for everybody. But 2 children sitting next to one another could be doing 2 totally different things, because that's where the need is. And this school, Safari Small Schools, was designed to meet the needs of children wherever they are, whether it's high or low. And because I don't have any state testing requirements, I'm not pushing to get ready for a state test in the spring. My kids will know everything that they're supposed to know as time goes on. I don't need a state test to prove that. So this is an optimal environment for students who have special needs, or students who may be anxious or easily distracted, and who might need flexibility to learn to be able to stand or sit or wiggle or whatever they need. That's Safari Small Schools is here for those kids.